What's going on, guys? So today on this SHOKY Quickie, we're going to be taking a look at another Black Series exclusive, and this time it is the Clone Commander Obi Wan Kenobi from the Clone Wars. So we never saw Obi Wan in this getup with the actual armor and stuff like that in any of the movies. These were strictly from the Clone Wars. So they were trying to give us a more Ewan McGregor looking guy. And we'll see how close they get. Nice image down here. That's not too terrible in there. By the way, this is a Walgreens exclusive. And it went from being everywhere to having, like 8 of them on the shelf to this was the only one I found. So people were definitely grabbing them, probably scalping as well, if I had to guess. Now, once again, come to the side. You can tell it's exclusive because there's no number. And rotate it this way. A legendary Jedi Master, Obi Wan Kenobi, was a noble man and gifted in the ways of the Force. He trained Anakin Skywalker, served as general in the Republic Army during the Clone Wars, and guided Luke Skywalker as a mentor. That is all a very true thing. Now, I need to still get the Anakin, like the Archive Series Anakin, so I can really start working on that. Get my Episode 3, Episode 2 shelf built up a little bit, but at least I have one other Obi-Wan to look at when we get to it. So let's go ahead and get him out here. And there we go. There's Mr. Obi-Wan, Mr. Commander General. I like how they're just like General Kenobi. Now, it was funny because they sort of retroactively went back after A New Hope when they started writing the prequels. Because you remember, Leia referred to him as General Kenobi in A New Hope. And so they actually had to find a way for him to become a general at some point. And we did see him as kind of a headstrong, young Padawan, in his like 20s or whatever in Episode 1. And then we watch him grow up throughout the movies. And of course, if you watch Clone Wars, which I haven't seen 100% of, but I've seen a good chunk of Clone Wars, it was pretty good. Now, for this head sculpt, I'll zoom in ever so slightly here, or way in. And he looks good, though not necessarily straight up Ewan McGregor. It's pretty close, considering. Now, there's been a major paint issue with this one, and luckily I picked one of the better ones that I found. Normally he's got this kind of rosiness in his cheeks that really came across as like a strong rouge, like super red and a hard line. This one is actually pretty good. It's actually a little harder to see. Like, against my skin tone, it's not really as noticeable on camera. It does have the blue eyes, decent shading on the hair, nice molded beard. And then I've seen one that had really bad beard line, like it was like halfway up the cheek in the wrong spot, stuff like that. As for the body, it might just be like a clone trooper body with these new peg holes here for the cape. Could be wrong. I don't have any of the clone troopers, so I can't say that for sure, but I bet there's some similarity between it and even the regular stormtrooper body that I've looked at kind of before. Sorry, I'm trying to find a nice medium here. There we go. And you have the cloth cape that I'm not a huge fan of. I really do prefer it when they just mold things in plastic, because I've even got Luke, Jedi Knight Luke's cloak / cape from a while ago, and I'm not even using it on him. But given that, Jedi Knights usually had some type of cloak or even a cape, so to speak, down the line, it's okay. I mean, he doesn't have a hood. He just has the nice fold here, which is okay, but it's not weighted enough. It doesn't hold itself down, which, in this case, it's very similar to the way like Doctor Doom's hood or cape is. So I kind of would prefer that. I mean, it's not like Hasbro doesn't have the ability to mold that. So let's do articulation on this guy because he's a fairly new-ish figure. I will say this, the head is definitely kind of loose on that ball joint. Just sort of annoying me. And it does have a hinge swivel, but he can look really far down. But his head is sitting really high up on that neck, as you can see there. It's kind of annoying. Molded detail is good, though this is just, once again, the cape thing is kind of annoying me. You can move the arms, however, the shoulder armor really does keep upward movement totally limited. He actually has a bicep swivel, which is cool. He does have a double jointed elbow, but you really only get use out of one of the elbows. That one gets one click at best, and then the armor completely gets in the way. That's why Jedi were generally unencumbered by armor. That they wear robes. You got the hinge there as well as swivel, so that's a normal holding hand and trigger hand as one is to do in a Black Series figure. It does have what is probably a ball joint or a double ball joint, or could just be a long ball joint. It feels like two because of the way it comes out. Either way, that's pretty good. You can rotate, just watch your soft goods. Excuse me. He does have this belt. I assume it buckles somewhere, probably right there. It looks like the seam lines. You could probably take all that off if you're so inclined. And does have normal T-mounted ball joint hips, looks like. And then probably the thigh swivel right there at the armor cut. Bendy knees. Got a little bit of gray paint back in there. Some paint smudge right there. That's actually like a fingerprint or something. No, that's actually a print from the thing. Looks like this was applied when the paint might have still been wet, if that's paint at all. This is definitely paint on the knee. This is probably molded plastic. Hard to tell at the black. It looks like the black was painted on. It's a nice shiny white armor, or as you should do. Ankle pivot is there. Can't really go anywhere back. Can only mostly sit flat, and you do get the foot rotation there on what it looks to be a slipper. It's kind of funny. And he does have a couple accessories. I bet he's going to have a hard time standing because he's in that armor. Yep. So he does come with this really stupid foot stand. This thing does nothing. If they really wanted to give you a stand that would work, they should give you one that has pegs, very much like a NECA stand, which I think in the future I'm going to just have to invest in a buttload of NECA figure stands because they will at least peg into the footholes like you should do. Where's his... Okay, side skirt wasn't coming down. So, that works. So I gotta wonder if Obi Wan ever saw Luke and Han in the trooper armor and then had like flashback to this. Okay, so you do get his lightsaber. It's almost identical to the one that Jedi Knight Luke comes with. Got a few little details, but they didn't paint it worth a damn. So it's kind of a grayish plastic, but not silver. And then you got the gold or bronze-ish color there, and then black there for the handle, the switch. And it does have a peg there. I guess it goes right there. If you want to have a disarmed saber. I mean, obviously you can remove the blade, which is something I'll likely do in the future, but let's see how well he can hold this. See, that's one thing. When it comes with a peg, to me, that means display it as such. Don't bother with the rest, because one, it's a gun holding hand, and Obi-Wan only uses a gun once from what we really see. I mean, maybe in the Clone Wars series, maybe he does more often, but at this point, he's mostly just doing it this way. Now, I don't tend to use my lightsabers unignited, but for him, I might. So let's just go ahead and yank that out. I'll plug that into his belt. The other Obi-Wan I need at the moment, that's actually an older version, is just the normal, still alive old man Obi-Wan. Because I have Force Ghost Obi-Wan, which was in fact my very first Black Series figure, which we have right here. So once again, robes. So the robes are not soft goods, they're just plastic, and I like that. So to me, if you wanted to do the cape as soft goods, but then do the other details as just plastic, I probably would have been a little happier. I'm trying to get him to stand, but he's so off balance. I can tell he's going to fall over a lot. And then another younger Obi-Wan there. So episode 1 Obi-Wan. And there's an episode 2 Obi-Wan coming soon, if I remember correctly. So I'm definitely going to have to get that, but that's the Obi-Wan collection as it is, and I don't really have anybody else from the Clone Wars saga, so that's pretty much it. So that's all I can do with this one, is just this version. And, you know, I just got it because it looks really neat, and, you know, Obi-Wan was a nice character, so I knew it would fall over eventually. Let's do turntable time and final thoughts. All right, guys, but final thoughts. He's good. He's just anytime they do somebody armored in trooper armor, it gets really wonky. Like I like the extra elbow joint. That's always appreciated, but the always having a trigger hand, especially when you have a lightsaber wielder, sucks. The I could do without the soft goods. I would rather have molded plastic, but that would make him a little heavier, probably more, you know, tendency have more tendency to fall over backwards, which he's gonna do regardless. So, I mean, I can't really fault that, for this. The head sculpt is cool considering they were taking a CG rendered version and trying to make it look like the real actor, which is very different in this case. So it is what it is. Let me know what you think down below. Of course, I know a few people who also got it. If there's any other Clone Wars-y type characters that you want to get, by all means, let me know down below. Start the discussion. And of course, if you want to help support the channel, by all means, go check out the Patreon. And of course, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's over there. And I will catch you guys on the next review. I'm really backing up on my Black Series figures, but, I'm trying to get them all wrapped up here. And I will see you on the next one. Remember, as always, let the Force be with you.